Do you like Devil May Cry? The first one. It wasn't a fully realized concept yet, but man, was it onto something. The skill-based combat, complex enemies, survival horror-style puzzles, the beautiful gothic castle framed by fixed camera angles. There wasn't anything like it at the time. Wait. Something's gone terribly, terribly wrong. Hey, my name's Giraffes, and this is Vampire Hunter D for the PlayStation 1. A survival horror-esque action game focused on melee combat. I draw the major comparison to Devil May Cry with good reason, as that's the same description as Devil May Cry 1. To go a bit more into detail without going too much into detail, Resident Evil 4 had multiple false starts where they tried a concept that didn't work out. One of these concepts was, hey, what if you played as a monster, like Birkin? The game would have focused on melee combat rather than gunplay. That idea didn't work out. Instead, that concept was spun off into Devil May Cry 1, which is why Devil May Cry 1 is basically a Resident Evil game with swords. Vampire Hunter D, I believe, gives us a look into what the Resident Evil version of that concept may have looked like. It came out in 1999, about a year and a half before Devil May Cry. It's like a transitory fossil between Resident Evil 3 and Devil May Cry 1. But why am I playing it? I did not play this as a kid, which is kind of a theme for my videos. In fact, I only learned this game existed like 2 days before I started playing it for this video. I was looking something else up and randomly saw Vampire Hunter D for the PlayStation 1. I had never heard of that before, and as I learned about it, I just got more interested until I was already playing it. I had to know just how similar to Devil May Cry Vampire Hunter D could be. So let's find out if this game is a hidden gem or something that should have been left in its grave. Before even a title screen, we get a full intro including a clip from the Bloodlust movie, and I'm sorry, this line just kills me.
Please, help us. I have $500,000 for you now.
You know, the setting is really unique, being the year 12,090 AD, but it's still specifically weird for a fantasy sci-fi character to go, I have 500 grand USD in unmarked bills, please save my daughter. The titular vampire hunter named D watches an awkward CG battle against rival bounty hunters and the Arbiter. Oh, hey lady. Finally, at the title screen, we start a new game and get a lore crawl for some world building. D enters Castle Chaith along with his left hand, who is a character if you're unaware. This game has a lot of cutscenes in this black void, and probably for budget reasons. We gain control and get to feel what we're working with. Like Resident Evil games of this time, this game has tank controls, meaning up and down move you forwards and backwards, while left and right rotate the character. By modern standards, it's very janky, and going back to this was rough for a while, but it's manageable thanks largely to a lock-on similar to Devil May Cry. Though I'd still say the tank controls were a poor choice here. Devil May Cry recognized and made the necessary changes to the Resident Evil formula to make an action game work. And number one with a bullet was that tank controls do not work for an action game. Unless you are playing as a literal tank, like in this video's sponsor, War Thunder. No, I'm not popular enough to get sponsored. Double tapping a direction gives a short dodge, and like any good survival horror game, we have a quick 180 spin. The biggest difference between this game and Resident Evil is that for combat, you get a sword. You have to manually draw the sword, but hey, infinite ammo. You even get a jumping attack. Your hand can cast magic, but I'll talk about that later. We find a map of floor 1 and enter the foyer.
Wow, what a mansion!
There are some items to pick up, and I'm conflicted on this. For Resident Evil, using items is very normal, but in Devil May Cry, there's a big stigma against using items because it makes you a bitch. We grab the red key, see a portrait of Carmilla, the owner of this castle, and yep, would definitely get lured in and murdered by this lady. Ooh, some traps. Okay, it's motion sensitive, so I'll stop and plan my next— I didn't move! The red key leads to the first enemy, which D handles himself. D shows off how you should be fighting them, more on that later. We explore the castle a bit more, hear a woman dying, ignore it, learn to platform with tank controls, and find the blue key card. This allows us to take the blue door, where we encounter the sexy little... Oh, okay. Was it the misogyny? Okay, no, that's on me. We've gotten a good taste of the combat at this point, but, like... It's the flavor of something sweet, but it's sour. Raw lemon sour. Aside from your sword swings, you have a block, magic hand, and usable items. The block is useless. I tried so many times, but you can't block the most basic attacks. No idea what this is for. The magic hand is a very cool concept. When enemies are low health, your hand can eat them to charge this meter. You expend this meter with your spells. Heal, which is very good, and attack, which sends out projectiles. It is pretty interesting to have this resource to manage instead of ammo, but enemies respawn, so you can just charge this to full whenever you want. Items are a must. The throwable items are crucial for certain enemies, like these female warriors. I did something I don't normally do. I used a save state. Yes. I wanted to lock myself in a room with one of these female warriors. Also, I wanted to test the combat out. At this point, I found no good way of fighting the female warriors, so I had to use items to reliably beat them. The combat isn't terrible, as we'll see, but the fixed camera angles are. There is lag between the camera swaps. Just enough to notice, but there are just way too many camera angles. I legitimately got lost in a square room because there were so many different angles, I never knew how big of a step I'd just taken or in what direction. After the first female warrior, we enter the basement and fight a spider monster capable of poisoning us. We come face to face with Meyer Link, the vampire who kidnapped that rich dude's daughter. He is the first boss bout. Why does block work all of a sudden? Yeah. Block only seems to work against bosses. Now that block works, the combat is very simple and easy. Funny how that works. We grabbed an electric plug earlier so we can turn the power back on to unlock some doors and leave. And, I had to restart the entire game at this point. Turns out I had gotten the bad ending. Yes, you can actually lock yourself into the bad ending in the first 5 minutes of the game. 2 if you hurry. Remember that dying woman? Yeah, that was important. If you don't immediately go into this room, it's bad ending. Before you even see an enemy for the first time, you can lock yourself into the bad ending. When we do go into the room, we see Meyer Link. Oh, I guess he was supposed to be the tutorial. We give the injured woman a potion, and she warns us that the Marcus Brother mercenaries are very competitive. So, okay, good ending saved. Meyer Link doesn't show up where he did before, so it's an either-or situation. We advance to some hallways with laser tripwires that spawn enemies, not that I ever triggered one. We encounter a red ghost lady that draws us into a mirror to see the mangled corpse of a Marcus brother. Then we fall for a fake Charlotte when... Oh, Charlotte is the girl we're here to rescue, by the way. Kinda crucial detail. This pit trap leaves us in the sewer, where water slowly hurts you because of old vampire rules. So we need to switch off the water flow to certain areas to progress. The enemies down here focus on being annoying. There are these green shrimps that give you food poisoning, these rainbow centipede frog things that grab and restrain you as a default attack. The game introduces a trap that is literally just a big stick that pokes you in the butt. We get a wrench down one path and use it for a block puzzle down the other to escape into a tomb. Oh, another Marcus brother. Despite D being a handsome and very polite boy, Borgoff attacks. This boss just runs away, so you can't hit him unless he stops to ready an attack, which is fine, except there are so many camera angles. Does this look playable to you? Borgoff gets beaten down and retreats. You fool. We could have been allies, friends. We could have opened a little restaurant together. Imagine it. Chef Borgoff D. It's free money! Our reward for beating him is the silver key. We enter a cemetery, then a sci-fi tower. These cube enemies are definitely not worth fighting, and most of the doors are locked, so I just keep running. We find a control panel and unlock a ton of doors with the silver key, but not in this tower, back in the starting area. We take a magic elevator down to the foyer, so this is a backtracking section. I get super lucky and pick the right path immediately, but there's quite a bit to explore. This is the point the game clicked for me. I was now accustomed to the controls. I discovered a very important feature when locked onto an enemy. You don't have tank controls. You move in cardinal directions relative to the target. That basically solves the biggest issue I had with the game. Even the warrior ladies are kind of fun to fight now. We try to leave, but someone cut the power again, so we need to go turn it on again. And oh, it seems we've caught Meyer Link at a bad time.
What are you doing?
D. Leave me alone. It's none of your business.
He now has this dangerous grenade attack, so we have to power through with some items. We see that Meyer Link was... by the way, the reason I keep calling him Meyer Link is because I can't tell if Meyer or Link is his first name, and I'm too afraid to find out. But he was diverting power for some rocket-shaped purpose. After the fight, we save the girl, named Layla, again, and see this floating ghost dude named Grove, meaning that one really cool part from Bloodlust already happened. We go back upstairs only to get ambushed by a ninja who sounds suspiciously like Jester from Devil May Cry 3.
Oops! You're hurt! You can't fight well, can you?
But you've taken quite a trouncing today, haven't you, Virgil? You could have chopped me into confetti by now if you were in tip-top condition.
Okay, this is getting weird, but focus. Bengay cuts off D's good hand and disappears. We can't use magic for this section, which is kinda neat, though it's too short to feel the difference. We grab a key for later and fight Bengay, who is fun, but he cheats by bringing an artificial sun to a sword fight. If only something had warned me about this.
I will meet you at the Tower of the Sun.
Cut to our cut-off hand, who finds Layla and convinces her to help D. We switch to Layla? That's neat. She's more of a traditional survival horror character, but there's barely any combat for this part. Would've been cool to spawn a bunch of flying enemies like, hey, see how useful guns are? Turns out D already got killed and buried, but the plot demands convenience. Also, whoa, if my left hand looked at me like that, you know what I'm saying, fellas? D goes straight back to Bengay, and his left hand eats the damn sun. Okay, I see why you keep that thing around. We have another fight with Bengay, little harder, still really fun. We gotta tread carefully for this next section. There are two very easy ways to lock yourself out of the good ending. We arrive at the honeymoon suite, where Charlotte confirms she wasn't kidnapped, she eloped. We turn our back for 1 second and she gets kidnapped for real. Looks like my contract's still valid. Now here's the delicate part. There are 3 doors in this room. One is an exit we can't use yet, 1 door leads to Charlotte, and 1 door leads to the boss fight. If we go to the boss first, we cannot get the good ending. We have to check on Charlotte first, but there's no indication of this or even which door leads to who. You just gotta know. The boss is that sick-ass werewolf, and ooh, buddy, the 3D has not been kind to you. Charlotte got kidnapped squared, so we descend the tower. There's a gold key to grab. You need to be delicate, fuck. The gold key goes into the same computer as the silver key. This allows us to unlock all the remaining doors and see Layla in danger. That freaky red girl shows up and whoa, Milla. She's on Meyer Link's side and tries to stop us, but she's a ghost, so. Our hand tells us how to reach Layla, and here's another ending breaker. You need to find her gun before you save her. It's literally in the room before her, but yeah, miss this narrow path and normal ending it is. As expected, we save her, give her the gun, and run off to save Charlotte. The entire map is now unlocked to us, and we need to do some exploring to find these elemental plates, which should unlock the path forward. Backtracking is a staple of survival horror, and this segment is really fun. There's a lot of unique puzzles and challenges crammed into like 1 hour of gameplay. We're short one plate, but Borgoff is back. Oh no, he's a tier 3 sub. Good thing Layla has that gun, nudge nudge. This is a total repeat of the previous fight, just run in circles and attack when he stops. Okay, hold on. Layla shot Borgoff, ran down the stairs, we fight him, then she runs back up the stairs and shoots him again. She's too unpredictable, knock her out. Carmilla has betrayed Meyer Link because she can use Charlotte to revive herself. The boss fight is good, though easily exploited. She has this attack that stops you in place, but since we've been using magic to heal ourselves, we've stockpiled a lot of healing items and can just face tank her. We have one final and very fun duel against Meyer Link, which is just a style on him, as all we do after winning is take Charlotte's ring as proof of death and let them go. The good ending we did all that weird stuff for? It's just the fact that Charlotte is actually still alive when getting on this rocket ship. The normal ending is the canon ending you'd see in the movie where she's dead, so this is a happier fanfic ending. Meyer Link and Charlotte are alive and take off into space in hopes of being together forever. What the hell was this game? I felt like I was going crazy for a while because I couldn't find the connection to Devil May Cry, but it had to be there, right? No developer who worked on both games, no quote about being inspired by this game. Could this really all be Convergent Evolution? Motorcycle riding tomboy with a bazooka who always points a gun at the protagonist, massive structure with impossible gothic architecture. You fight Virgil twice, then he gets betrayed by a supporting antagonist who turns into a giant tentacle monster, then the final boss is the third duel against Virgil. On top of all the other similarities I've mentioned. I don't know. Vampire Hunter D was a very popular novel series, so the visual similarities don't have to be from this game. They both started with Resident Evil and tried to turn it into more of an action hack and slash, so there's gonna be overlap. This game was made by Victor Interactive Software, who made a ton of games, but nothing of note. The only other standout was Harvest Moon Back to Nature, which was remade for the Game Boy Advance as Harvest Moon Friends of Mineral Town. That was my first Harvest Moon game, so that's cool. A physical copy of Vampire Hunter D is rare and expensive, so this definitely did not sell too well. The reviews at the time were pathetic. This game is probably just a coincidence. The combat is simple even for this time, nothing special about the graphics or music, it's really short and lacking in content. Even what it has isn't perfect. This game loves to have enemies positioned to attack you as soon as you enter a room, while you have to manually pull your sword out to defend yourself. A funny quirk with your sword is that boss cutscenes have you draw your sword so you have it out when the fight begins. But if you skip the cutscene, you won't have your weapon drawn. A lot of minor stuff like that. If I had to pick one fix, I'd want to lower the number of camera changes. Plan fights better so you can have 1 or 2 wide angles instead of 7 pizza slices. So there you have it. Vampire Hunter D for the PS1. I'd say it's a hidden gem from a certain point of view, but it's most likely unrelated to Devil May Cry. Wait. What is this meter? I've gone the entire video without mentioning it. VP stands for Vampire Power. The higher this bar, the more damage you deal. Also, your attack spell changes effect based on this meter. So, what affects it? Well, potions heal HP and lower VP, while blood vials heal HP and raise VP. Enemies shoot out blood when hit, and D absorbs that blood if it lands on him. So it's raised by hitting enemies and lowered by being hit. Almost like a style meter. Okay, that's it. Someone who worked on Devil May Cry loved this game. It is absolutely a precursor to Devil May Cry and character action games as a whole. So there, end of story, give it a shot. Why not? Thanks for making it to the end of the video. If you enjoyed, a like and subscription means a lot, and if you didn't enjoy, well, why the hell not? You better comment and tell me. Anyways, take care, I guess.